for you this lesson from Unity of the Keys Spiritual Center. So let's settle ourselves now into this space. Let's take a moment to just become present to what is right here. This beautiful space, this beautiful moment in time that we have come together. So I'm about to date myself, but I was a teen when a popular song was released called Precious and Few. Precious and Few. It was a song recorded by an American group called Climax, which became a major hit in early 1972. Now, Precious and Few spent 3 weeks at number 3 on the US Billboard Hot 100 and hit number 1 on the Cashbox Top 100. It also reached number 6 on Canada's RPM 100. It's considered a one-hit wonder. And the song lived on beyond its originating band. The song has been covered by many artists: Andy Williams, The Letterman, Ray Conniff, Terry Baxter. There was even a Spanish version. It hit the top of the charts with only 2 verses, repeated twice, for a total of 2.5 minutes of song. Looking back, I'm like teenagers, all the angst of young love or whatever. Precious and few. That is how we often hold something, isn't it? If it's precious, then it's limited. If it's precious, then it must be rare or one of a kind, few. And we understand that when we think about that vase that belonged to our grandmother, or the Christmas ornament that our child or grandchild created, perhaps a scarf that belonged to you or was given to you by a dear friend. This necklace that I have on today was gifted to me by Catherine Duncan, it says Unity. She gave it to me when she was sorting through items after Hurricane Irma. And this one, this amethyst necklace, had belonged to Reverend Evelyn Casper. So these things are precious to me, and they're irreplaceable because of the meaning that I have imbued into them. Because I could find, I'm sure, almost an identical amethyst necklace, and I could find or have created a Unity charm. But the same exact item without the sentimental personal attachment would not be the same in my mind. And we like to have these items around because they remind us of our love for the people who gave them to us. And each time we see them, we bring to mind the person and the relationship and the experience from the past. Yet, if those same items went away, our feelings, our connections to those people would remain unaltered, unchanged. The love in our heart remains, our connections remain. And today, we know that divine life, our joy in connection, is precious and unlimited. It is precious and abundant. It is not limited in any way, not constricted, not able to be used up. We did not enter into this life with a set number of joyful or precious experiences. And once they are used up, well, they're done. You don't have any more. You don't get any more. Thank goodness. Can you imagine what that would look like? Well, you had a great childhood, so you used up all the joy and preciousness available to you. Good luck in adulthood. Not at all. Our good is unlimited. Our capacity for joy, for magic, for precious experiences is beyond measure. It's beyond our imagination. Can you guess what the primary blockage to our good is? What gets in the way of experiencing life to the fullest? to finding precious moments, precious people, dear, dear experiences. You know, and you guessed it, it's you and it's me. We are the only ones blocking preciousness from touching our lives to the greatest extent possible. Now, there's a story about someone going to heaven. Okay. Yes, as if heaven is a actual separate place. And let's call this person Mr. Jones. So Mr. Jones is in heaven and being given a personal tour by one of the angels. It's called the angel Fred. So Fred is giving Mr. Jones a tour. And Mr. Jones's eyes are wide open, can't get enough, taking it all in. And Fred is describing everything until they go by this large warehouse, which Fred ignores. So this confuses Mr. Jones, and he says, why aren't we stopping here? What's going on in here? And Fred said, oh, it's nothing you'd be interested in. And Mr. Jones responds, well, yes, I am interested. Please show me what's inside. So Fred relents and reluctantly opens the door. And inside this enormous room are row after row of shelves from the floor to the ceiling with white boxes of various sizes, all wrapped with giant red bows. So as Mr. Jones is walking down the aisles, he quickly notices that each box has a name on it. And an idea comes to him. And so he asks Fred, is there a box here for me? Fred hesitates a moment, then nods. Mr. Jones races down to the J section of the warehouse looking for his box, and he finds it. And the box is huge. He pulls it down, rips off the giant red ribbon, and he recognizes with a deep, deep sigh the contents of the box. Because there in Mr. Jones' white box are all the blessings that God wanted to give him while Mr. Jones was on earth. But he'd never asked, and he never felt that he deserved them. And now in Scripture, in the book of James, we're told you do not have because you do not ask God. And we understand that we are not beseeching some outside entity to grant us our wishes. The power of creation, of bringing into manifestation, is within us. So for us to ask God simply means to open ourselves to divine guidance, to recognize and accept when good comes our way. For we pray, yes, and we move our feet. It can make you wonder what's in your box, doesn't it? What are the gifts you could have if you ask, or that you were willing to accept, or to recognize as the gift that it is? What might there be in a box for Daybree, or Sally, or Danette, Marianne, Aaron, Robin, Lori? Your box, one with your name on it. What might be inside? Could there be a box marked Unity of the Keys Spiritual Center? I believe in a benevolent universe. I believe in divine life. And life always finds a way. And divine life is not different in that aspect. Divine life is vibrant. It's alive. It's breathing and expanding. It's persevering, unwavering, resolute. There's a saying, you have not because you ask not. I think this could be rephrased as you have, but you recognize not. Or you could have, but you are not open to receive. You are not believing that you are deserving. Perhaps we're still hanging on to that thought of precious and few, thinking that blessings are limiting somehow. So how do we move beyond that mindset of lack? For that's truly what it is, beyond the thinking that we are undeserving, thinking that good, abundance, wholeness, perfect health, prosperity, peace, harmony, fullness of life is meant for others, but not for us? It's a good question. At the same time, many of us have reached the place in our lives where we're minimizing, becoming minimalist, simplifying to an uncluttered lifestyle. Of course, in Key West, that's always been a factor due to very limited closet space. And that is great for stuff, for material items. We've become so much better at letting go of what we have so that others might enjoy the clothes or household goods, books, plants, jewelry, whatever. If we've heard of Marie Kondo, a Japanese professional organizer and consultant, she instructs people that if you're unsure about an item you have, that's an indication that the item does not spark joy. If that item doesn't bring you joy, her method suggests that you thank it for its service and then you let it go. I love how this approach encourages us to recognize all the things that absolutely do spark joy in our lives. We are surrounded by the preciousness of the universe. The sunrise sparks joy, as does the sunset. The fragrance of the flowers on the island or in our garden or from the florist sparks joy. A call from our children, spending time with our grandchildren sometimes sparks joy in our hearts. Cards, letters, text, photos shared. The list is endless. It is similar to when we make a gratitude list. This would be called our sparking joy list. What an idea, huh? At the end of the day, making a list of all the things that sparked joy for us that day. A new approach to a spiritual tool. Today, we come together to remember that it's easy in the rush of our lives to forget in our daily routines that life itself is precious, it's holy, and it is filled with meaning. Not because of anything we do to earn it, and not because of some doctrine that declares it so, but because with every breath and every heartbeat, every moment of awareness, there is the infinite expressing through us. And unity teachings invite us to look beyond appearances and beyond labels, religious, cultural, personal, or otherwise, and perceive the spiritual essence that connects all things. And when we pause long enough to notice, we find that holiness is not far away. It's not hidden in some distant spiritual realm. It is here right now, woven into the fabric of our ordinary days. Most of us were taught, sometimes subtly, sometimes directly, that spirituality lives out there, separate, beyond our lived everyday experiences. But unity reminds us that the divine is not separate. It is the very substance, the fabric from which our life is formed, the very essence. So when we speak of life being precious, we're speaking of something sacred that we already carry. For each of us holds a unique expression of that sacred life. No two people have the same combination of gifts, the same life experiences, hopes and wounds. And yet beneath those differences, there is a deep, abiding unity. Life expresses itself through each of us like countless waves rising and falling on the same ocean. Can you visualize that with me? We are each like countless waves on the same ocean, rising and falling. And when we understand this, even for a moment, something inside of us softens. And we realize that the holiness of life isn't reserved for special occasions or for spiritual masters. It is not something we must achieve. It's our starting point. It's our inheritance. Our task is simply to remember. To treat life as precious means to live more awake. Not necessarily perfectly, but with intention. It means noticing beauty we often overlook. The warmth of the sunshine on our face, the joy of someone's laughter, the comfort of familiar routines like using our favorite coffee or teacup in the morning or the evening, sitting where we usually sit. The strength that rises in us when we do not expect it. And the stillness that meets us when we pause and breathe. To live awake is to realize that every moment is a teacher. The difficult moments remind us of our resilience. The joyful moments remind us of gratitude. The uncertain moments invite us to trust. And when we approach life with this openness, holiness is revealed everywhere. One of the most powerful unity ideas is that the divine is not only within us, but within everyone else. Every person you meet, whether they delight you or they challenge you. Each person carries that same sacred essence and a pure heart. It doesn't mean we ignore harmful behavior or pretend that relationships are always easy. It means we choose to recognize the deeper truth beneath the surface. All beings share the same spiritual essence. And when we interact with others from this awareness, our words become gentler. Our compassion grows and forgiveness becomes possible. We begin to understand that honoring life means honoring the life in others as well as ourselves. Knowing that every day is a gift. It is not a guarantee. And rather than this truth making us fearful, it can make us more aware, more grateful, more intentional. Instead of saying, how much time do I have? We might ask, how fully can I live the time that I have today and tomorrow, and perhaps the day after that? Each moment gives us a chance to choose kindness over impatience. It's a choice. To choose presence over distraction. To choose gratitude over taking things for granted. And these small choices, repeated again and again, transform our lives and transforms our vibration, our energy, lifting our world. Reverence does not require special rituals or sacred objects, so those can be meaningful. Reverence begins with awareness. It asks us to treat life with respect, with gentleness and appreciation. Practices of reverence, of beholding the precious, might include a simple moment of silence before meals, not from obligation, but from gratitude. A daily pause to breathe consciously. A quiet appreciation of nature. Listening deeply when someone shares their heart. Blessing the day as it begins and blessing the day again as it ends. These practices anchor us and they remind us that life is not simply to be managed or survived, but something to be cherished and honored. And as we step into this new week, may we carry the awareness that life is precious and holy. Not because of what we accomplish, not because of who approves of us, but because life itself is a sacred expression of the infinite. Life is precious. Let us live as though we know this truth, that we remember this truth, Let us live it into being. And may we remember that holiness is not somewhere else. It is here. It is now. It is within and around us. It is you. And so we let it be.